Roseanne, are you aware whether Mr. Richardson is going to come this evening?
You know, I'm not, sorry.
Okay.
I don't know.
And apparently we don't have a quorum if we don't have one more person.
Jacob, can you text Dean to see if he's coming?
Okay. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. I'm just on the phone with him. He's not going to be able to make it to the meeting tonight. He had some other stuff come up on him.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
The wind keeps on threatening to bust my door open. I have it locked so it doesn't. So if there's a big whoosh, you'll know why.
You just hold on a second. I'm just going to call Mr. Desjardins. I have his cell phone number. I'll see if he's attending. Okay.
Nice.
Just
Okay.
going to shut my
Yes,
video off.
Thank you. Okay.
Okay, Mr. Desjardins is just having some technical difficulties. I've resent him the link. He should be here shortly. I will try and send an email to Mr. Richardson to see if he's pending. Oh, there he is.
Oh, good. Oh, there's John too. We're just waiting on Mr. Desjardins. He's signing up right now. Hi, John. Nice to see you.
Hello. Trying to cope with my screen here. God.
Me and technology don't get along.
Yeah, you're not the only one. All right.
Yeah, we're
You,
just waiting for Mr. Desjardins.
presumably can see me.
Yep, I can see you.
Okay. All right. Oh, I can see me too. Okay.
Is he trying to get on?
Doesn't appear to be, not yet, anyway.
Well, we'll give him another. We have 15 minutes, right? So. It seems the wind has calmed down. That's good.
Quite cool this evening.
Pardon me?
Supposed to be quite cold this evening.
Minus 32 apparently with the wind chill. I put my horse's blankets back on after repairing them, and my gelding actually put his head on my shoulder and pulled me close, and I'm like, "You're welcome, you're welcome." Oh, there he is. Oh. I only have to clip my dog's nails. Clipping across the floor.
I've sent the email to Mr. Desjardins twice, so he emailed me and said that he's trying.
Okay. Would it just be easier for him to call in, maybe? I'm no one to judge. We got a wing.
Okay, third time's a charm. I just sent it to him again. 3 different ways. Did you want to call the meeting to order and he can just join?
Okay, that sounds good because we have a quorum now, right? Okay, I'll call the meeting to order at 6:18. Welcome, everybody. Hopefully this one works out. We live in the north. Is there any written disclosure of pecuniary interest from anyone? John?
No.
Ms. Van Schaik?
Sorry,
Ms.
so
Van.
what was the question? Sorry, what was the question?
Oh, do you have any written disclosure of pecuniary interest?
No.
Conflict of interest? Okay. All right, so we'll move on to number 4, reports from municipal officers. A revised plan developed for the public swimming hole. So Jacob, would you like to speak to that?
Sorry, Heather, was I on the
Oh,
list?
sorry, I'm sorry. I missed one, sorry. You're right, sorry. I did it wrong, sorry. Number 3, petitions and delegations. Sorry, Ms. Banjay, I'm just a little nervous.
Yeah, no
Okay,
worries.
so would you, okay,
I actually can only stay online for a few minutes because I've got to get outside and feed the dogs. It's pretty cold and I just want to get that job done soon. So, yeah, sorry we got disconnected last meeting. Maybe I'll just pick up from the point there when we left off. I was under the
okay,
impression last year that a bylaw was passed for a fire truck access. And now it's appearing that, really the development has been about the public swimming access. And I've been to council a few times to speak to this matter, but they don't really acknowledge some of the issues I've been raising in the creation or expansion of this area as a public swimming uh, beach or access point. And I'm very concerned that the developments proceeded without a bylaw in place to redevelop the shoreline road and just proceed according to the law, where these surrounding property owners would certainly be consulted and some accommodations would have to be made. I feel like the previous times I've been before council and expressed issues of the fire hazards that this is presenting, it hasn't been dealt with effectively. There was a small piece of paper put up from a printer, maybe 8.5 by 10-inch piece of paper, and stuck on a post with a little fire icon on it, indicating no fire should happen. But when fires do happen, it becomes the responsibility of guests or tenants that are staying at that property to deal with these issues. And this seems to be an ongoing and reoccurring issue. It doesn't matter who's living at that house, it is private property. And there are complaints, whether it's garbage left down there, people starting fires. I've had an ATV drive through my garden. I've had lawn chairs stolen. And all these things continue without any consultation or accommodation with the surrounding property owners. And I mean, this can date back to when Charles Lemp had that house and he was voicing issues with the same. So I'm just mainly concerned that, like any development in the township, it should go through a formal development process. There should be rezoning, because otherwise it just seems like council and leadership is allowed to proceed under the auspices of one thing and create something else. And if that's the case, it should apply to everyone in the township. If I want to build a house, I'll tell you it's a shed.
so
And
can
that's
I,
kind of the
I understand, I hear what you're saying. And so that's why, I mean, we wanted to get on with this ad hoc committee a long time ago, but COVID hit. And we want to address all your concerns. The meeting that you missed, I think for the most part, we want to address the concerns. We want to make it safe. We did not mislead anybody by putting that filling station. It was absolutely necessary. But the ad hoc committee is just developed to have ideas to pass to council, and then through council, they will decide, what to go from. But we don't even know if we want to develop it. We're not even at that stage. We're in a planning stage of what's necessary. And so far, what I'm hearing is basically some signage, but we have to pass, we have to decide whether the councillor wants to address the signage. I think we addressed the fire issue. We're going to have a professional sign and perhaps a garbage can. But anyways, that's what this is all about. We want to be fully disclosed, and we want to do things right and fair. And that's why this is here.
Well, thanks
Uh,
for those comments, Heather. I'm just, I just have a conflict with the fact that you're calling it a fire truck filling station, and then last week it was a parking lot for people going to the beach. There's a big difference between a fire emergency, trying to get water into a fire truck, and having people park there to go swimming. And, at the time when I raised this with Dean, I said, I doubt you can fill a fire truck there. And Dean said, oh, it has to be a certain height, and across the road was too high. Now what you've constructed is just as high as what's across the road. And it probably takes them 45 minutes to fill a fire truck over there. So, I mean, why do we have to keep, not doing things in a proper way? Like, honestly, it's quicker to fill a fire truck just at the access at the boat ramp at Smith Lake. And so now we have this
Oh, okay.
public access developed in terms of a road, when it just hasn't gone through the proper rezoning to become a beach or public swimming access, what it is. And that's my main point.
So what is the, I'm just looking for clarification. What designates a beach, or what do we need to change for our bylaw? Which you'll have to bring before council, but just for my personal knowledge, I don't know what has to change. I don't understand.
Well, right now it's a road on a map, and it just needs to be sectioned off as a public beach area and access from the road, because you've created a public access. It's not fire truck access. People turn off and drive down to the beach, and when they're finished swimming, they pull back out onto the road. And so that becomes a public access to a beach. So
But
that requires
there will-
zoning for both, I imagine.
Well, there always was access down there, was there not?
It was a forced road over a piece of
Oh,
property.
wait,
that
Cindy has something to say. Sorry, Cindy has something to say. Yes, Cindy.
I just let everyone know that I am investigating this point with our planner so that we are doing it the proper way. If it needs to be rezoned, if bylaw needs to be developed, all those sorts of things, unfortunately, I just don't have an answer yet from our planner.
So,
Okay, thank you.
may I?
Yes, sure, yes.
Okay. So, I'm not claiming to understand I'm not sure that anybody here claims to understand all aspects of this. And I think that's sort of a given, but I think that basically the general message coming from Roseanne, she can confirm or not, okay? But I think the general message is that whatever's going on here, it has to be developed according to the applicable laws. Do I have that right?
Of course.
Okay. So, so Cindy is apparently investigating that. Okay, I think probably as adjoining property owners, Roseanne should investigate that, et cetera. But I would just like to ask, get what I think is confirmation of the point with everybody on the call that whatever happens, it needs to proceed according to all applicable laws.
Yep.
I think it would help if we could at least get agreement on that, because
Oh, of course.
okay, because I don't, my sense is that a clear statement of that has been lacking up until now. I'm not saying it's been tended to, but I don't think
Yep.
we quite had that statement, which I think is necessary.
Yes. I just want to keep it simple. We don't want to develop it as far as I know, but anyways, we're not there yet.
Well, the question I think is, includes what people want, but at its core, I think it's what's required under the law, right?
We'll find out. Without that information, I can't answer that, right? But I am very willing and interested to find out what needs to go on further. But as far as I think we all agreed that there's no development needed. That's what I was concerned with. Nobody wants it any better. They just want it safer, right? but Cindy's looking into that, so I guess we'll figure that out when the time comes, when we have answers. We can't
Well, I think
delay that.
to bring Roseanne back into the conversation, is it more, it's more than a primary issue, although not the only issue, but a primary issue. You know, what she's saying, you know, bylaw, this sort of stuff, is that it be developed according to the applicable law, municipal laws, whatever those may be. Is that correct?
I have no answer to that.
Well, I'm asking, is Roseanne here?
Yeah, and I'm listening. Yeah, of course that's correct. Like, before the road was improved for the purpose of a fire truck, which doesn't seem to be the purpose at the time. And last year when we had this discussion in July, no one could mention the word beach or swimming access. I was cut off on 4 occasions when I raised it by the mayor. I wasn't allowed to say the word. Now there's a development being planned around it. And I just want to say that the development is incompatible. I have no issues with this swimming events that have occurred there previously. Like, people were using that beach, but once the river brought in all the beach sand 3 years ago, it like tripled the subscription to people going to the beach. And it also increased the amount of time they want to spend at the beach. And it also increased their ideas of how they want to recreate around the beach, including making fires. And this is a major issue that I've expressed on many occasions that I'm 100% incompatible with. And I'm incompatible with tenants running to my house at 9:30 at night when it's as windy as it is today, only 30 degrees outside, telling me someone has a fire down at the beach that needs to be put out, and they put it out and told the people to leave. Now, that doesn't work for me. Or tenants complaining that someone's left a bunch of liquor bottles and dirty masks, and they're sitting down there and no one's picking them up, and they pick them up. And when I send that complaint to council, I'm told to thank my tenant for cleaning up down there. Sorry, it's not their job, and it's not my job either. And I didn't create
hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying.
And so,
But
at the moment, if it continues to be unregulated, it's completely incompatible. When I was raised these issues previously this summer, I was told, well, just call the police if you have a problem. I'm not here to be calling the police all the time. I think the committee, the council needs to understand, for anyone living in that
we're
house.
not here for the council, though. That's the thing. Like, we're here for solutions. When we bring it to council, that all your points are valid. But until we have some answers, but we're trying to make some solutions. So you don't have
I think
that
she's
fire.
just saying that the solutions need to include, you know,
And
what
we hear
she's
that.
stating, right? Yeah.
Yes, exactly. So I hear that.
The use of the beach or waterfront there has definitely changed over the years, and it's increased use. It's increased use, and now that it has like formal access, it will have increased use. And if you're indicating that it is a public access place between the internet and everything else, it becomes increased use. And then there's the question of how do you manage it, and how do you manage it so it's compatible to the surrounding property owners? So 1, my property doesn't catch on fire. 2, people aren't spinning ATVs through my garden, and things aren't getting stolen.
I hear you with all that, though, ma'am. I do. I just think that I understand. I hear you. And we just want to be here to make solutions. I understand all your concerns are valid. We have a lot of questions, but we can start to move forward, see what's happening. Nothing's going to happen without council's approval, and all your points are very valid. I understand them all, and that's what we're trying to solve. And that we're just a bunch of neighbors talking about what do we want to do to solve the problem. I understand there's a problem, but what do we do to solve it?
There was a problem a year ago when I raised it with council, and everyone just proceeded business as usual. It doesn't matter.
Well,
and that was a
we needed the filling station. And we figure that with
Doesn't
signage
help.
saying no unattended parking, you know, so if there was a fire, the fire truck can access,
I don't think the
you know.
fire truck, that is a solution in an emergency. I think what you created was access to the beach under the auspices of this fire truck access bylaw. So anyway,
But that's,
we've
maybe that's not a presumption.
probably not helping right now, but I will say, like, 90% of the people that go down there just go down there for a swim and, you know, aren't doing any of these things. It's the 10% that do that put the whole situation at risk. And what I have experienced from going in and speaking to council about this on previous occasions is nobody cares. You know, when we have the complaint from the tenant, the response is, "Oh yeah, thanks for cleaning it up." It's not our job.
Okay, I
If
hear
we
you. I
think
hear
this
you.
is bad,
I hate to say like we're repeating.
it's
I
what-
understand. So that's why we're here. I hear you.
well, let's have
So
a
let's try and
bylaw
come to something.
and go through a proper planning process, not just
Well, that's what
create
we're
a
here for.
planning process afterwards. And that's what we're doing
Okay.
now. And if there's
Okay.
no budget for signage for fires and someone volunteers
Well, we're
to
coming up to budget time actually, right? So we want to know what we need there so we can budget for it, right? But
Yeah,
until we move forward,
last year we said we needed a sign about fires. We offered to
yeah,
pay
we
for the
hadn't had it in
sign.
the budget though.
Yeah, but we offered to pay for it. We offered to purchase the sign.
Okay, so,
That is true, actually, yeah.
And instead there's
oh,
an
I did not know that.
8x10 piece of paper that's put up.
Okay. So, okay, I get that you're angry and I understand, but we need to move forward.
Well, you know, like in fairness, I would say she's agitated. I don't think she's so much angry. You know, this is a big problem. I don't know. Like, I don't understand why any fires at all, any kind of fire.
No, there shouldn't be any fires at all. There
You
shouldn't
know,
be.
or alcohol or any of these other things. Now, I understand that that's different from, you know, the control issue, but I mean, is the town assuming liability for stuff down there? You know, beyond even fires and, you know,
Okay, so what
accidents and all these kinds of
if you
things?
remember our conversation that we had to take care of our gem that we just kind of been ignoring, if you remember that conversation, we just have to be more attentive and probably more aware. And we remember we were going to share with the township, perhaps we need to, you know, self-regulate, kind of take care of our lawn, right? So with that, I think people just kind of minded their own business and it was, and like Miss Manchay said, it was an odd occasion. Most of the residents enjoy it very happily and, you know, incident free. So we just want to make sure we can amplify that, make sure everybody enjoys it incident free. But we can't do anything and until we make some plans. I get everybody's upset and we're trying to fix it. I want to fix it.
Well, clearly everybody wants to, you know, find something that works, clearly.
So can we move? I've heard from Miss. So can we move forward with the agenda and see where we come? Because we can't come up with the answers about the bylaws. So if we can move forward with the meeting, unless we're just going to beat a dead horse over and over again. Not to be disrespectful. I understand. I hear all the words. I want to move forward and see what maybe Jacob has to say, what plans they have in store, and see if that can solve anything. Is that okay with you, Miss Manchay?
That's fine, Heather. I appreciate the time to once again express my concerns down there. And I just have to head out and feed the animals because it's a cold night, but I'll catch up with the minutes later.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Have a good meeting.
You too. Have a good night. Okay. So, Jacob, would you like to give your report?
There isn't really a report.
It's just the plan.
It's the plan.
So we don't
that
really have a plan.
I was asked to revise the plan to
Okay.
include signage and things. So we did start looking at this
Yes.
last time. And everybody should have a copy of this.
I do.
So essentially what I amended was anything that you saw that was highlighted in yellow from the previous. So this is in green, not in yellow, but I've just added this to remind us that permits may be required. If we do any kind of development, permits may be required from any of these or all of these. It all depends on what we decide there. And I've also made reference to if a bylaw is required or rezoning is required, that type of thing. As I mentioned, I have contacted our planner to see what's involved in. I've described what we're discussing now, putting signage up, garbage cans there, that type of thing. So I've described what we're planning at the moment. Things may change, and if they change, then I will go back to him, kind of thing. But to get his take on what needs to be done so that we are following the appropriate rules. Want to do this responsibly, etc.
Sure.
So the other things, again, the things that were added were the things that are in yellow, and I removed the parking issue as it was decided that wasn't an issue anymore. So this is what the plan, the way it fits right now. Was there anything that anybody wanted to add or delete? Any of those types of things. That was the question here.
Mr. Richardson, what do you think?
So when the internet went dead last week, I was asking about the parking. Because that wasn't discussed on the other meeting I was at. So I'm just trying to understand, I guess, what it means.
I'll explain.
What does it mean?
I think I did say the access down there had a big crevice in it. So if you didn't have a 4x4, you couldn't get down to the bottom. So you had to park on the road. Now that's been because of the fire filling station. That big crevasse has been filled in. I don't remember how many loads of dirt that Chris installed, but now you can drive down. I drove my little car down there, so they're not going to have to park on the road anymore. It's a non-issue. And whilst he was there, he put a barrier. So if, he found the pins, and he put a rock barrier so nobody will drive on anybody else's property, etc. So that's why they thought that we've solved the parking problem.
So how many cars would go down there? What does it look like?
1, 2. And so if somebody comes in late, maybe they can, park up at the top. But there's never any more than 1 or 2 cars at any time.
There's not room for more than 1 or 2 at any time.
There never is anyone, but that's what I mean. Probably we have to take a little bit more inventory, be more observant. But I have never seen more than 2 cars down there, and I've been here 4 years now.
So just to make sure I'm understanding. So what you're saying is that it is now possible for there to be some cars down there, and it was not before. Yep. I got that right? Well,
vehicles could be down there, just not little cars. Usually it's just moms bringing their little 2-3-year-olds down to the beach to cool off, right? Yeah. So those ones couldn't get down there with their little, Honda Civics or whatever. You'd need a big 4x4 to get down there, and that just,
But what it looks like when it's in use is like 2 or 3 cars down there. That's what it looks like.
I've never seen 3 cars. Yeah, I've never seen 3 cars.
Something in that range.
Yeah. So, but now it's accessible. So I really believe that the parking issue is resolved.
I see, okay.
So I agree with all the parking thing. I really truly believe it's resolved. Basically, it's adding some signage and a garbage can, in my opinion. I don't know. I was reading Mr. Dejean's statement. I don't know if you had a chance to read that. As we were talking about, oh, I got my papers all mixed up. He basically thinks everything should stay the same too, and we shouldn't put any rules on it, or, you know, because we were talking maybe lightly of not letting other people use it. That was his opinion, and I kind of agree. But like I said, for the odd time, we're just kind of trying to keep the same rules for everyone. Everybody can use it, but you know, it can't be everybody, one person respecting the rules. It's got to be everybody. So I didn't see
Yeah,
anything
so
else that needs.
one of the issues here that I think is likely to remain is I mean I saw the email whatever come in on that. You know, as you know, like my view of this and my sentiment is that it should be workable for the community. I do have an issue though with it being open, for people outside, because I think that compounds the problem. There's no incentive
Yeah.
for
Well,
people
I don't
coming in
think
from
that if we,
Mattawa or somewhere
yeah,
like
if
that to respect that.
but
No incentive. And
if we develop it, then they're going to come in droves. If we just leave it the same, they're not gonna,
well, I don't know if they're going
right?
to make that. I mean, I just don't know if they're going to make that distinction. In the last meeting, somebody, said that, the problem that some of the problematic people down there, in at least one instance, were people from Mattawa.
Yes.
My point is simply this, that, I think it's reasonable for, people in the Calvin community to respect that. I don't think it's reasonable to expect that for other people. So, I would, my view of this is that if there's a way to exclude people from outside the community, I think that would go a long way in solving these problems, or the perception of the problems.
Yeah. Well, I guess it could just be word of mouth, eh? I like, hey, go. You have your own beach. Stay at ours. Because
I
they
don't
have a
know.
lovely beach. They have a couple
I
actually.
just don't know. I just don't
Yeah.
know. The
I think
one
this
of
was
the
a one-off.
realities here, and this is not, it's not like a complaint, but I think it's a reality, is that the adjoining property owners, are trying to, defend to a reasonable extent, their ability to use the properties, and trying to, in my view anyway, certainly from my perspective, trying to be as cooperative as possible. All right. But I think it's important that, when we get into the discussion of, how are these things managed, from a safety point of view, et cetera, that I think that the use of that when people from Mattawa or outside is a very significant escalator of the issues, very significant. I see no
Um.
incentive on
Yeah.
anybody who doesn't have a vested interest in the area to respect that.
It's true. And like you said, we can be self-policing. I mean, there's no way we can regulate anything legally or whatever, but I think that as our community, I don't know, just it's just an aside, our community kind of got fractured where not everybody knew everybody, so maybe they didn't know who was down there and possibly things could have happened. I think it's really, this pandemic has been a good thing because we've got to know our community because we had to stay in our lane. So it's forced us to know our neighbor, which I think that's a good thing. Um, like I said, those kids from Ottawa, that was a one-off. But I think as far as the plan goes, if we can move forward and when we have all those answers, like there's no point
Well, I think,
until we,
yeah, well, of course. I mean, I
yeah.
completely agree with you on all these points, but it seems to me the plan needs to include a recognition of these issues and reasonable answers to these things.
Well, what do you think, Cindy? Can we?
Sorry?
See if there's some sort of regulation. Well, I'm just asking Cindy if she can see if there's some sort of way we can find out if we can regulate it.
I think the precise question is, can people from outside Calvin be excluded?
I'm not sure.
I will have to investigate
I mean, right
that.
now.
Well, I don't know
the
the answer either, but I think that's a question worth asking. I think it's important. I appreciate that, the issue of people outside the area looks different from the perspective of adjoining property owners than it does, say, from somebody who's not. But surely everybody would agree that at a bare minimum, it takes up space down there, parking, et cetera, which was contemplated to be for the Calvin community. And I think that I think it's a significant issue. I think it should be investigated. And I think that although I sense that you're not thinking about it right now, I think that down the road, somebody might say, oh my God, this really was an issue.
Okay, fair. All right, okay. So can we move forward and adopt the minutes of our last meeting? I think that's all the issues. We'll look into those. So we'll adopt did you have a chance to read the minutes for the last meeting?
Are you asking me? Unfortunately, I'm very bad.
Yes, I think you're the only one here now.
Oh, you're kidding me. Oh, listen, you're never going to be able to count on me for anything administrative.
Okay.
So
I'll
I'm
give you a
happy to
chance.
adopt them, whatever they may be, but
Okay.
I can't
Okay.
say I've read them.
Oh, so can I ask you to move that we're going to adopt the minutes to the meeting?
I guess so. I mean, I don't even know what it means, but I'm happy to move it.
Oh, so usually we usually have a mover and a seconder to adopt the minutes of our meeting to say that they're true, that these things happened. I'll go ahead and read the minutes to you if that's okay, if that would make it better.
Is it going to take a lot? Is it a lot?
I can add to it. Oh, there.
All
right
it
there on the
is
screen.
The meeting took place, right? What is it?
Yeah, that's it. Just that the meeting took place. We elected a chair and co-chair, and these people are on it.
Okay, that's all right.
Okay, that's an ad-libbing. Okay, so I guess I'll second it, or can Jacob second it?
Jacob can second it.
Jacob, would you mind seconding the resolution?
I will second the minutes.
Okay, thank you. So then we'll move that the minutes of the ad hoc public swimming access to the Emile Dufont River Committee meeting held on Tuesday, January 12th, 2021 be hereby approved and will be then included in the next regular meeting of council for consideration of final approval. Okay, so then the next meeting thing on the agenda.
Wait, there has to be a vote, sorry.
Sorry, I'm moving forward. I figured there's only 3 of us. Okay, I say yay. Jacob, yay or nay?
Democracy's too complicated
to accept
for
the
me.
minutes.
What?
Sorry, to accept the minutes.
Oh, okay, yeah, sure.
Okay, Jacob, do you say yay or nay?
Yay.
And Dean's not here. John, yes or no?
Yeah, it's okay by me.
And Mr. J. Jardin is not here yet. So this resolution is passed. So now we need to go on to number 6, old and new business, next steps. There's where we move forward. So we've already decided we're going to find out if we can make it regulated for just Calvin residents. See if we can address all Ms. Banger's and your issues, and that's with the plan. Anything else you suggest for next steps?
Well, I think we confirmed, okay, that, whatever's going on, it's got to meet legal requirements.
So,
I'm not saying I know necessarily what that means, but, at the end of the day.
Yep. So what will happen, Cindy, hopefully will get the answers that we asked, and then we'll present it to council. And then we'll move forward that way, and we'll have our next meeting saying, okay, we talked to council and council said blah, 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 and then we can come back. So that's in a nutshell, as far as I'm concerned. Is that right, Cindy?
Well, before we present the plan to council, we should all have the answers and then present the plan to council.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
yeah.
Okay. All right. So there is no closed session.
If I
And
may,
oh, yes.
in the new and old business, I just wanted to address some of Roseanne's concerns that
Oh, okay, good.
the garbage being deposited down there would be covered under, I believe, our landfill bylaw. I've been trying to look the bylaws up on our website as we've been going through the meeting. Once section 8 and 9 are reinstated to the landfill bylaw. And then I've been trying to find the bylaw that pertains to the burning, but if I remember right, when we addressed it last year, there was a bylaw that had something to the effect that there couldn't be fires on municipal property without the proper authority. Again, I need to find that bylaw to give the exact answer.
Sorry, there could or could not?
There could not be
Not.
fires without, I mean, there would be, if I remember right, there was an allowance for exceptions for special reasons. Say
Okay, but
a
normal
ceremonial fire or
going down
something.
there to swim would
So that's
surely
go through the
not be
proper
special
approval
reasons.
through, I believe council or the chief to get those things. I have to try and find the bylaws to give an exact quote on it. But I do remember both those two issues being addressed. The trespassing, I thought Chris had addressed them with the rocks to create a barrier between the two properties. And the parking, I do agree that it should be looked at somehow as to where there could be parking down below, or a designated area that people are parking down below, so that you know that they're not crossing the property line if it's not clear down there. With the snow on the ground right now, it's kind of hard to tell where the property line is and where we would see a safe parking area to separate parking from where kids could be playing. That could definitely be a safety concern. You don't want someone coming down the hill straight into where some kids playing and lose their brakes.
Yes.
That there should be some sort of barrier or something showing that this is where cars are going to be traveling and this is where people are going to be.
Valid. Thank you, Jacob.
Okay.
Thank you.
May I make a suggestion? So I think that probably Roseanne would appreciate if you could just summarize like by section number and, cut and paste those bylaws or whatever.
Yeah, I think I have her email address. If I can find the bylaws.
Yeah, that would be
sections,
I think a great help in the discussion.
Oh, Cindy would
I
like
see
to say
Cindy's-
something?
I will also include them in the plan so that they're stated right in the plan. We can
Great.
absolutely send them to Miss Banshee. If Jacob doesn't have her email address, I do.
I would do both.
Yeah. So, but it will also state it in the plan as well so that it's clear.
Good. Very thorough. Okay. Thank you, Jacob. Thanks for addressing that. That's good. Okay. Anything else, John?
Well, no, I'm not good at this kind of democracy, so I mean, I'm just kind of following the lead here, looking at some stuff on the screen. So it looks like we're about done, right?
I guess so. So we'll see if there was no closed session and there was no business arising from closed session.
Now that I'm good
So
at
now-
moving things, can I move the end of the meeting then? I can practice?
That's great. That's great for me.
All right, I move the
Yes.
end of the meeting. Whoa.
Okay. Okay, Jacob, would you second it, please?
Yes, I'll second it.
Thank you. So that the meeting of the Ad Hoc Public Swimming Access to the Amalgam Fall River Committee. So do we need to reschedule another meeting or until we find out the answers, I guess?
We probably need some answers. That would be my guess. But I
Yeah.
think I don't know. But I mean, clearly this discussion needs to continue.
Yes. So I don't know how
would-
soon we can get
my
the,
suggestion would maybe in the middle of
May?
April. No, I'm thinking the middle of April. We don't want to
Okay.
get too far into the swimming season either. We kind of want to
Well, true that.
have
Yeah,
some of
you're
this.
right.
Yeah. So let's
Okay.
say in the middle of April. So that would be, does Monday nights work for everyone?
I'm good with that.
Okay.
John?
Yes.
That's fine with me.
Okay, Jacob? Good. Okay, good. Thank you.
So let's go with, how does Monday, April 12th sound?
Great.
Sure.
Sure.
Okay. So be scheduled for Monday, April 12th, 2021, that this meeting of the ad hoc public swimming access meeting be hereby adjourned at 7 o'clock. And now we vote on it.
Yes.
So I say yes. Jacob?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
And this is carried. All right, good night. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
We will move forward. Thanks for taking care. Good night. Stay safe. Bye.
Bye-bye.